We are so used to looking into the big things and the wider picture that we forget small minute details. Here when I say minute details, what I mean is the basics. When I look into the patrikas, many a times when we are so engrossed with the planets, we are so engrossed with the nakshatra and everything else, we tend to forget the basic, that is the sign. The sign has so much to tell to us that if we forget to look into it, what it has to say to us, what it needs to deliver to us, we might miss out on the vital things in our life and we may not be able to grasp as to why things are happening to us. Let's take up one such sign today. Let's talk about Gemini, the most sought after sign, because people say it has a dual face or it is not able to express itself properly or it has multiple expressions. Well, every sign has multiple expressions. But Gemini, let's talk about a flip side of Gemini today. One good side about Gemini is that being the house of communication and lauded by the planet of communication, these people are very good at communication and they can be great pranksters. You can tease people, you can play pranks on people and you can entertain people around you, keep them occupied. But understand one thing, that there is a flip side to this or a darker side to this entertainment, this pranking. It could lead to some deceit, it could lead to a person being tricked. It could lead you to a trickster. Now what do I mean by that? You need substantial proof. Otherwise, you would say just saying the word trickster does not work. So let's go by the lagnas. What I mean to say as a trickster is that you could be subject to fraudulent activities or you could fraud people themselves. I've seen in many a charts when Rahu is sitting with any other planet in this high sign of Gemini, a person can be a good trickster or could be a good fraud for that matter. Let's begin with the sign of Aries. For the Aries Lagna, the person who can be tricked is the brother, because it is the third house, it represents the brother. So your brother, if there is a malefic planet here, if Rahu is also aspecting it, then for sure your brother could be one of those people who could be tricked into doing something because it is sitting right on his Lagna. Or he could be tricked by others in terms of money, in terms of business, etc. For you yourself, it's your third house. You could be tricked by others into speaking what others want you to speak. It is the bhagya of marriage for you too. So, it could also be a possibility that you could be tricked in that department too. It is your father-in-law also. So, your father-in-law could have also been tricked by others in his life. There's so many things that you can see just from that one Gemini sign for each Lagna. When we talk about the second house for Taurus Lagna, one could be tricked into not studying. One could be tricked out of their money because for the Taurus Lagna, the second house of Gemini represents money. One could have invested in an agency and that money could be deprived of him. So the second house for you is your family values. Somebody could come ahead and tell you that these are just waste, or your family could lose out on their value system. Not just value system, a lot of money could be lost by them because it also includes the money that you have stored, the money that they have stored also could be lost. When you come to the Gemini Lagna itself, when I talk about the Gemini Lagna, any person who has the Lagna as Gemini, then in that case they can lose their money. They can be tricked into seeing things. If Rahu or Ketu or any other planet is also placed there, then they themselves could be fraudsters, they themselves could be great tricksters. So, if you have this kind of Lagna, you need to see that also. Do you want to go into that area or not? If we talk about the Cancer Lagna. For the Cancer Lagna, this is coming in the 12th house. A fool and his money are easily parted, or somebody can fool you into parting, because the 12th house in itself is about giving and letting go. So you could be made to let go of things very easily. Just look at Ramchandra ji's chart. He is a Cancer Lagna and he has his Ketu aspected by Rahu in the 12th house. Many a times he's had to let go of things. And that is what I mean when I say that you have to let go of things. You can be cheated out of your things, your inheritance, your you could be cheated out of your parishramik, that is, you could be cheated out of the wealth that you earn, name that you earn in your workplace. Okay, as we move ahead for the Singh or the Leo Lagna, for those people, it's your 11th house, and it's not a good place for at all, because 11th house is the house of society. It is also the money that you get on a regular basis. So if you've invested in some place so that you get regular income, when Rahu is aspecting this place, you need to be very careful, because that income can get eroded. In society, there can be people who can cheat you out of it, or you could be a part of a society that could be fraudulent for you. You may not just enjoy it at all. Let's come to the Virgo Lagna. For the Virgo Lagna, the 10th house becomes the sign of Gemini, and it's the sign of your business, it's the sign of your career, your workplace. It is in your workplace, in your career, that you might feel that you have been cheated, you have been tricked into doing things that you didn't want to do, or you have faced certain amount of backlash there, because again, as I say, this is a sign of a prankster, a trickster, who, if there are malefic influences, separative influences, if there is a trine of Rahu or reverse trine of Rahu, or if there is Saturn aspecting, then you could be parting ways with your career, you could be tricked into parting ways with your career. Then let's move on to the Libra Lagna. For the Libra Lagna, this is your 9th house, and honestly speaking, for the Libra Lagna, it is a cause of concern, because 9th house is the house of luck. It is also the house of your father, so you could be tricked out of your luck. There's something that you would be going to get and no, it's refused to you. Or your father could have been tricked into letting go of things that he rightly deserved. The 9th house is also, as I repeat again and again, of your marriage. It's very important for your marriage, because it talks about the legality of the marriage. It could be a case that somebody promises you marriage and then moves away, does not get married to you or does not marry you. So this is also an emotional point that can be seen, especially if there is a moon sitting there and Rahu is aspecting it. So then you will see that this can happen for you. As we move on to the Scorpio Lagna, for the Scorpio Lagna, it's the 8th house, and I've seen people, if they have Rahu here, it's likely a chance that they can trick others. But if they have a aspect of Rahu, then in that case, their spouse can be tricked of their wealth. It could be a lady, it could be a man, anyways. Or they can lose out on their inheritance, because the 8th house is the house of inheritance also. So if you have a malefic effect in this sign of Gemini, then you can be losing out of your inheritance. Let's talk about the 9th house. When I'm talking about the 7th house for the Lagna of Sagittarius, then in that case, there can be problems in partnerships. Personally, you could meet a person whom you find very fraudulent and you could marry, and the marriage could have that issue where you would have to pay a lot of alimony and things like that. Or it could also happen to you that your professional partners could cheat you, could be fraudsters, and can get a lot out of you, and you would be left at the sea unawares. Let's look at the sign of Capricorn, the Lagna of Capricorn, and see what can happen there. When I look into the Lagna of Capricorn and I see that it is in the 6th house, the 6th house is all about work. The 6th house is all about Rog Ripu Rin. Rog Ripu Rin means that you could be tricked into going for a medical checkup, and you just could have a very small health issue which can be bloated up, and nowadays it is happening, which could be bloated up and you could end up paying thousands and thousands for it. That's the rogue bit of it. You could be very wrongly framed in court by any one of your enemies and tricked into paying huge sums of money. As far as rin or debts are concerned, if there is a malefic effect here, then it could so happen that you would be fraudulently signing documents or anything wherein you are unawares that you have to pay a huge amount of interest for a small debt that you have taken. And at the end of the day, the interest accumulates more than the debt, the original principal amount itself. That's a cause of concern for all. I have seen many times that if people have Rahu here, then there is a possibility that they themselves could have problems or could be tricksters. So this is one case that one needs to be very careful about. Let's talk about the Aquarius Lagna. For Aquarius Lagna, this is the sign of, this is in the 5th house, and the 5th house is a house of big monies. It could be about gambling, it could be about share markets, it could be about you working in a big organization where they are paying you great amount of money. Well, it's also a time to take a good look. If this sign for you is not working well, then it's important for you not to gamble. It's important for you to be very careful about the share markets, because they can take you really high, and when you are on a very high position, they can make you drop. That could be a vertical drop and you wouldn't know where to go. So that could be a fraud that can happen with you. Let's talk about the Pisces Lagna. For the Pisces Lagna people, this is the 4th house, and the 4th house is a house of your home. It is the house of your mother. So your mother could be cheated. She could be subject to a fraudulent activity, or this is the place of being a place of your home. You could be showed a different kind of home. It could be on a different, the paperwork could be different, and the reality, the actuality of it all that will come tumbling later would be very different for you. So if this sign of Gemini has malefic influences for you, depending on what your Lagna is, you need to be careful, because that house, that particular house is sure to suffer. But even if there are malefic influences and then we find that there are some benefic influences also, then that suffering would be there, but it would be cushioned. It may come, but because of the benefic influences, you may just recover from it well enough. Do let us know how you found this video. Until we meet with you again, thank you.
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.